I am sitting in the sterile silence of my home office, reviewing my investment portfolio, admiring the $250,000 milestone in my retirement fund, when my phone lights up with my mother's name. Not a text message, a phone call. That alone is entirely strange because she absolutely hates phone calls. She prefers to send voice notes, small gifts, or messages demanding that I call her back on her schedule. I answer, and her voice is cold, completely devoid of any maternal warmth. "Listen, you need to cash out your retirement fund and wire $250,000 to your brother before Christmas," she orders. My fingers freeze completely above the keyboard. I am utterly shattered by the sheer audacity, yet my blood runs icy cold. Thank you for watching this video. Before I take you back there, do me one small favor. Take a second to like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments where you are watching from and what time it is where you are. It helps more than you know. My name is Barrett. I am 32 years old, and I am a systems architect for a major information technology corporation. For as long as I can clearly remember, I have never truly been a son in my own household. I have been an infrastructure, a human machine designed and maintained solely to support the golden child of our family, my younger brother Dalton. While I spent my entire youth studying late into the night, securing scholarships, and building a career out of absolute nothing, Dalton lived like royalty. He was the undisputed king of our home, walking on a red carpet woven from my sacrifices. My mother, Lorraine, treated him as though he possessed a profound, undiscovered genius. My father, Harold, was entirely passive, hiding behind a facade of family unity while quietly enabling every single disastrous decision Dalton ever made. They constructed a perfect snare, a psychological trap designed to keep me as their eternal prey. They conditioned me to believe that my immense success was not my own, but rather a communal resource meant to cushion Dalton from the real world. Dalton is 27 years old now. He calls himself a cryptocurrency investment specialist, which is simply a melodramatic term for an unemployed man who gambles with money he does not possess. Whenever Dalton crashed his car, I was the one who paid the mechanic. Whenever Dalton was evicted from his luxury apartments, my emergency fund was the invisible safety net that caught him. My parents demanded it, and I, terrified of losing the only family I had, completely surrendered to their demands. I paid their internet bills. I paid for their premium television packages. I even paid the monthly premiums on their vehicles. I was entirely trapped in a frozen wasteland of endless obligations. The empire of their entitlement was entirely built on the blood of my labor. I accepted it because I thought that was what a good son was supposed to do. I carried the staggering weight of their lives on my shoulders until the day my spine finally threatened to snap. A person can only live in the freezing cold for so long before they realize they hold the match to start a fire. Let me take you back to that exact moment in my home office. The air in the room is completely still. I stare at the blinking cursor on my computer screen while my mother breathes heavily on the other end of the line. $250,000. I ask, my voice sounding like it belongs to someone else. "Yes," she repeats, sounding utterly bored, as if she is confirming the price of a gallon of milk. "He has run into a little problem with his margin accounts. The market dipped. It is normal. These things happen, and you are the only one in the family who actually has real money." That sentence strikes me with an immense, crushing weight. "You are the only one who has real money." "Mom," I say slowly, measuring every single syllable, "are you asking me to give up my entire life savings?" Her tone instantly sharpens, dropping any pretense of a request. The mask slips entirely, revealing the predator beneath. "Your family is your responsibility," she snaps. "We raised you better than to watch your brother drown. You are successful. He needs help. We are not discussing this. This is your duty." In the background, I can hear the television playing. I hear my father cough. "Dad agrees with this?" I ask. A muffled shuffling occurs, and then my father speaks. His voice is completely flat, cowardly, and dripping with profound hypocrisy. "It is the right thing to do, son. A family supports each other." Of course he believes it is the right thing to do, because it does not cost him a single penny. Before I can even process the staggering betrayal, my phone vibrates. It is a message from the family group chat. It is from Dalton. He has sent a single thumbs up emoji, followed by the words, "Send it today, bro. I have deadlines." I stare at the screen for a profound eternity. Mom, I say, my voice dropping into an icy, frozen calm. You did not even ask if this would ruin me. She lets out a sharp, irritated sigh. Do not play games with me, Barrett. She growls, her voice utterly cold. We know what you make. We know what you save. You have enough. This is not optional. If you refuse to help your own brother, do not you dare spend Christmas with us. If you walk away from this, you walk away from this family forever. There it is. The absolute ultimatum. The final trap springing shut. I close my eyes. For years, this exact threat would have sent me into a staggering panic attack. I would have completely crumbled. But right now, in this extremely quiet room, I do not feel fear. I do not feel shattered. I feel an entirely profound, sheer clarity. They do not view me as a human being. I am just a resource, a golden goose that they are fully willing to slaughter to feed their favorite child. I open my eyes. The icy calm completely overtakes me. Okay, I say simply. My mother pauses, clearly confused by the lack of begging. Okay, what? Okay, I repeat. I end the call. I do not argue. I do not scream. I set the phone face down on my desk. The silence in the room is absolutely deafening, and it is the most beautiful sound I have ever heard. I open my laptop again. I do not look at my retirement portfolio. Instead, I open a hidden folder on my desktop. For the past 6 months, corporate recruiters have been relentlessly pursuing me. I had ignored every single message because I felt a profound obligation to stay in Chicago, close enough to fix my family whenever they shattered. I find an email from a massive tech conglomerate located in Austin, Texas. They had offered an immense salary increase and a full relocation package. I hit the reply button. I am available to interview immediately, I type. 45 minutes later, I am sitting in a video conference with their hiring manager. I am absolutely clinical, totally focused, and utterly brilliant in the interview. I answer every technical question flawlessly. When they ask how soon I can begin, I look directly into the camera. I can board a flight tonight, I state. By the end of the hour, the official offer letter arrives in my inbox. I sign it electronically. I walk out of my home office and look around my apartment. This place is filled with items I purchased to host my family. The expensive mattress in the guest room for when my mother visits. The massive television my father demanded I buy for football games. None of it is truly mine. It is all part of their empire. I pull a single large suitcase from the closet. I pack my absolute essentials. 3 suits, my laptops, my passport, and my vital documents. I leave the expensive dishes. I leave the furniture. I leave the physical evidence of my subservient past. I book a one-way ticket to Austin for that exact evening. As I ride in the back of the taxi toward the airport, my phone begins to vibrate frantically. My mother is sending text messages. I am waiting for the transfer confirmation. Dalton is pacing the floor. Do not be entirely selfish. I do not read them. I simply watch the frozen city streets blur past the window. I step onto the airplane, take my seat, and as the wheels lift off the frozen ground of Chicago, I feel the trap completely fall away. I am free. When I wake up the next morning in a temporary corporate housing suite in Austin, Texas, the sun is shining brightly. The air is warm. I pick up my phone from the nightstand. The screen is utterly chaotic. There are over 60 missed calls. There are hundreds of text messages in the family group chat. I pour myself a cup of black coffee, sit by the large glass window, and begin to read. The mask has completely slipped. The facade has utterly crumbled. At first, the messages are merely demanding. Barrett, the bank opens in an hour. Send the funds. Then, around dawn, the tone shifts into sheer, staggering panic. My mother writes, why is the primary credit card declining? I am at the grocery store, and it is entirely frozen. Fix this right now. My father writes, Barrett, the internet has stopped working. The television service says the account is suspended. Stop throwing a childish tantrum and fix this. Dalton writes, Bro, the auto pay on my car insurance just bounced. What the hell are you doing? Fix it. They have absolutely no idea what is coming next. They think this is a temporary glitch. They think I am pouting. They do not realize that the prey has successfully escaped the snare. I open my laptop. As a systems architect, I understand how interconnected networks operate. My family is a network, and I am the primary server. It is time to initiate a complete and total shutdown. I log into my central banking portal. I navigate to the credit card accounts. I see their names listed as authorized users. With a single, clinical click of my mouse, I revoke their authorization. I move to the telecommunications portal. I cancel the family data plan entirely. I navigate to the utility company websites. I issue formal cessation orders for the electricity and the water services at their address. I do not simply pause the payments. I legally sever my name from the service agreements. I then open the shared insurance portal. I remove Dalton's vehicle from my policy. I remove my parents' home insurance from my automatic billing. As I watch the confirmation screens load, the vocabulary of my life completely changes. I am no longer dealing in favors and family duties. I am dealing in breach of contract, liability, and federal regulations. For years, my mother had forced me to sign a joint liability addendum as a financial guarantor for their primary residence. I locate the legal documents. I draft an immediate notice of withdrawal as the primary account holder, citing unauthorized financial exploitation, and I submit it directly to their mortgage lender via encrypted email. I flag my own Social Security number with all 3 federal credit bureaus, placing a hard lock on my identity to prevent any potential estate fraud if they attempt to open new accounts in my name. The entire process takes exactly 42 minutes. In less than an hour, the entire financial empire they built upon my back is completely and utterly shattered. My phone rings. It is my father. I decide to answer it, placing the phone on speaker as I sip my coffee. "You are completely destroying this family," Harold screams. His voice is cracking, drained of all its usual pompous authority. Your mother is sobbing on the floor. The power company says the account was terminated. Dalton is screaming that his car is uninsured. Fix this now. You are acting like a spoiled brat. I listen to him hyperventilate. I am entirely calm. The icy chill in my chest is absolute. I stopped paying for things that should have never been my responsibility in the first place. I reply. My voice is minimalist, totally flat. "We are your family," he roars. "We depend on those accounts. You cannot do this. You depended on a human ATM," I correct him. When Mom demanded my entire retirement fund yesterday, she told me that if I did not pay Dalton's debts, I was no longer part of the family. I simply accepted her terms. I am no longer part of the family. "Where are you?" he demands, his voice trembling with a mixture of sheer rage and absolute terror. "I am coming to your apartment right now." "I do not live there anymore," I state. "I moved across the country. Do not contact me again." I disconnect the call. I block his number. I block my mother's number. The silence returns, heavy and completely satisfying. 2 days later, while I am setting up my new desk in the magnificent corporate office in Austin, my phone rings from an unknown number. It is Aunt Beatrice, my mother's older sister. Aunt Beatrice is a retired high school teacher. She has always possessed a sharp, critical eye, and she has never hidden her profound disdain for how my mother treated me. I cautiously answer the call. "Barrett," Aunt Beatrice says, her voice tight with disbelief. "Your mother has completely lost her mind. She is calling every relative in the state. She is claiming that you suffered a psychological breakdown, stole the family funds, and vanished. She says you are entirely responsible for the fact that they are currently sitting in a dark house with no electricity. What exactly is going on?" I explain everything to her. I tell her about Dalton's crypto debt. I tell her about the demand for my $250,000 retirement fund. I tell her about the ultimatum. Finally, I tell her how I systematically revoked every single authorization, canceled the guarantor agreements, and moved away. Aunt Beatrice is utterly silent for a long moment. Then, she lets out a sharp, genuine laugh. "They are completely panicking," she says, her voice dripping with profound satisfaction. "The mask is slipping entirely. Your mother has spent the last 10 years bragging at country club lunches about how successful her family is, acting like absolute royalty. She never once admitted that you were the one funding the entire operation. Now, the utility companies are sending collection notices. The mortgage lender has issued a warning because the automatic payments bounced. They are absolutely terrified. They made their choice," I say calmly. "Good for you, Barrett," Aunt Beatrice says firmly. "A clean break might finally teach them reality." The county sheriff's department even drove past their house yesterday because Dalton was screaming in the front yard. They are reaping exactly what they have sown. I thank her and end the call. The poetic justice is immense. I am completely insulated from their chaos. The final confrontation happens a week later. My phone receives a call from an unregistered prepaid number. I answer it. It is Dalton. The golden child does not sound like a king anymore. He sounds like a cornered animal. Bro, Dalton pants. You cannot do this to me. You have to wire the money. The crypto exchange is initiating a federal audit on my margin accounts. They are going to seize my assets. They are going to garnish everything. Mom and Dad are talking about taking out a second mortgage on the house to save me. But the bank refused because you removed your name as the guarantor. They are going to lose the house. That is a profound tragedy. I say, my voice icy and completely indifferent. You are going to let our parents go into foreclosure? Dalton screams, completely unhinged. You are going to let them become homeless because you are too selfish to share your wealth? You owe us. Ask yourself a question, Dalton. I say slowly. If the situation were entirely reversed, if you had $250,000 in your retirement account and I was drowning in debt, would you empty your future to save my present? Dalton is utterly silent. The snare is completely broken, and he knows it. I finally love myself enough to stop letting you treat me like a resource. I say. I hang up the phone. I block the prepaid number. I change my phone number entirely the very next morning. 6 months later, I am sitting on the expansive balcony of my luxury apartment in downtown Austin, Texas. The sun is setting over the river, casting a beautiful golden glow across the city. I am thriving in my new position. I have received a promotion, and my retirement fund has grown significantly. I am completely at peace. The constant, crushing anxiety that used to define my entire existence has completely vanished. Through Aunt Beatrice, I hear the final echoes of their absolute collapse. Without my financial infrastructure, my parents could not maintain their illusion of royalty. The bank initiated formal foreclosure proceedings on their massive home. They were forced to sell it at a devastating loss just to avoid federal bankruptcy court. They currently live in a cramped, 2-bedroom rental apartment on the outskirts of the city. Dalton's creditors entirely destroyed his credit rating, and he is currently working a minimum wage retail job, forced to take the public bus because he cannot afford car insurance. They spend their days entirely consumed by bitter arguments, constantly blaming one another for the sheer catastrophe that their lives have become. They demanded that I sacrifice my entire future to preserve their comfortable illusion. When I refused, the entire structure of their entitlement utterly crumbled into dust. I have gained a profound sense of self-worth and an unshakable independence that absolutely none of their money, and none of their guilt, could ever possibly buy. I did not lose a family. I stepped out of a trap. Have you ever found yourself completely trapped by the expectations of people who only value what you can provide for them? How did you finally break free? Let me know your thoughts and your own stories down in the comments below. Do not forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another story. Until next time, stay strong and always protect your own peace.